We've been aggravated since we've turned the mics on.
I don't know what it is. I don't have time to think about that right now.
Fletcher and Hardy.
It's ridiculous.
The Sports Hub.
So he was willing
He's
to
considered the godfather of New Jack Swing.
Right, Teddy Riley, right. Okay. Well, listen, we are Toucher and Hardy. You can watch us on YouTube. Subscribe to 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube. And believe it or not, we do meet before and after the show every day, except for Fridays when we don't meet after the show. And yesterday we're in our post-show meeting, and I notice on Hardy's wrist is a very fancy green watch. Hence, and green is important in this story because it has a green face.
Yeah.
And I and Hardy said something like, "You're looking at my watch or something," and I said, "Yeah."
What if I am?
He said, "What do you think? It's like a Rolex or an Omega?" I believe he said, and I said, "I do. I did because I was thinking to myself." That's pretty bold of you because usually if someone gets a really expensive watch with a green face, it's not something they wear every day. Like they that's when people start matching fancy watches with outfits and things of that nature, which is a very, very upscale situation. I mean, then you're spending tens of thousands of dollars on watches, conceivably.
Yeah, the hundreds of thousands, and you've got your big watch box there in front of you, and you've got your steel bracelets and your different colored bracelets and textiles and rubber bracelets and all that stuff. So, yes, I said I do have a new watch, and I think you asked me if it was a Rolex, and I said no. I said, I mean, it's an Omega, but kind of. So let me start at the beginning. Let me give you a brief history of watches because I've always liked watches. Right?
Thank you.
First watch given to me as a gift by my sister, high school graduation, the Timex Ironman, and I really liked that watch. Right? And then you graduate college, treat yourself. Got myself a Fossil. I'm moving up in the world, doing okay. Had to sell that to a bartender one night when I was in Las Vegas in order to, cover a marker that I had. I actually got $40 for that Fossil watch. I still feel bad about that. I really fleeced that guy.
Yeah.
But I didn't get my first, but I always liked them. I always admired watches. I admire the craftsmanship and how they look. And I always wear a watch. Always wear a watch. Wear one to bed. I never take it off. I'm wearing a watch. That's what I'm wearing that day. First real watch I got was a Tag Heuer, right? And that was a gift more than 20 years ago, and I still have it. It's great. My son wears it now occasionally because it's a little bit smaller. But I didn't buy myself like a real watch, and I bought like one at a pawn shop in Vegas, another Tag years later. After I had like a good weekend, I'm like, yeah, you know what? Let me go over to Super Pawn here, the jewelry liquidation center, and see what they got. Oh, there's a great looking Tag watch there. It's like $800. Like, you know what? Why not? Have something to show for it so I just don't piss it all away. Whatever I won gambling. All right, I'm going to have a little something to show for it.
Yeah, Chumley was there. Really chopping it up.
No. You can't go to the gold and silver coin shop. You got to go to Super Pawn.
Okay.
If you're looking for the most selection. All right. But a few years ago, I bought myself my first real watch. Now, again, the idea of getting these things new, if you've looked at them, it's crazy. So I bought a pre-owned Omega. Rolexes are beautiful, but I'm just not a Rolex guy, and I don't want to spend that money anyway. And I really liked this Omega Speedmaster, right? It's got a heritage and a history to it. It was the watch that was worn on the moon, and this is what I want. I'm like, that's it. Now I've got my watch for life. You go down the rabbit hole though. Right? And then when you learn a little bit about them, it's like, oh, God, now it's, and you see other watches and you think, oh, it'd be nice to have something a little bigger or a little more colorful than that one watch that you have. So I'm looking at Seamasters. that's price of a new one. I'm not doing that. Even the price of the pre-owned ones, I'm not doing that.
How much are they?
Like $7,000 for new. A pre-owned, like a certified one, you're still going to pay like $4,000 for it. Like, I'm not. No. Hold on, as I'm swiping.
John's
through.
overwhelmed. John's over there.
A lot of money.
Woof.
It is a lot of money. I'm not spending it. I'm not doing it.
But John's verbally like he's like woof. Woof. Whoa!
Did my audible exhale throw you off?
See,
yes.
It was.
Okay. I thought it was disingenuous.
It was this attitude toward the $1,000 amounts that prevented him from getting more money in the fundraising portion of the golf tournament yesterday. It's like, who's going to give $500? I don't know. I wouldn't do it if I were you. I wouldn't do it. Fiscally irresponsible, you guys. Don't do it. Don't do it.
$7,000 for a watch is a lot.
John was holding a silent, or not a silent auction. He was holding an auction yesterday for the Jimmy Fund, and that's true. He was saying, he said, I'm giving away this like signed basketball, and some guy said $1,000, and John went, okay.
You want to call home first?
Yeah. Whoa, big spender. All right. Someone's getting mugged in the parking lot, and then he mugged him.
Yeah.
And then he made fun of that cancer survivor. And so now here we are.
It's a banner day for everybody.
All right. So I'm
such a distasteful prick.
You look at stuff online, you start getting fed stuff in your algorithm, and I see these weird Instagram reels. It's like, here's an Omega Seamaster. I'm like, you won't believe the price. And so I click on it, and it's not a website. It's a WhatsApp phone number. I said, I said, okay. I got to know the price. I mean, if it's going to be half of this, maybe I'll consider it. So I text the WhatsApp number.
Do you have WhatsApp, John?
I do not.
Nor do I.
Okay, so I got it. I got it years ago, and there's some people who do prefer it
because it erases.
Yes.
And
if you have anyone who lives, like I have one friend who lives in the UK, and I started using WhatsApp with him like years ago because whatever, it's easier and cheaper than texting or whatever. Okay. I text the WhatsApp number. I said, yes, how can I help you? I said, well, what's the price on this watch here? And he said, $600. I'm like, come on. What is it? Is it an Omega? And he said, Super Clone. I'm like, what the hell is a Super Clone? Well, it's a fake watch, but there are levels of fake watches. There are the ones that are absolute garbage that you buy for $50 or $100 on the street. There are clones that'll cost you a couple $100, and then there are the super clones, which can cost as much as $1,000. I'm like, I said, do you have specific models? He said, what do you want? So I sent him a photo of the watch that I wanted, and he sent back a photo. He said, yes, like this. I'm like, I don't even know if the guy just, copy and pasted a photo he found online. So I'm texting back and forth on the WhatsApp. I'm like, how does it work? He says, I build the watch 3 days, then I ship to you. You have soon. I can tell he's using like a Google translator. Mm-hmm. Like,
you don't know where this person is or anything about that.
I do not. But he seems legitimate enough. It's having a real conversation.
Yeah, someone on WhatsApp speaking through Google Translator. He seemed to be on the level.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, what's not to be scared of? You're fine.
No, I mean, he got a good sense of the guy speaking through Google Translator on WhatsApp.
I wish I could read the text, but they disappear after 48 hours.
Yeah, that's why he didn't want the fuzz.
They're gone.
All of this cloaked in secrecy, no problems.
They're gone. All right. So I say, if 600 too much, how about 4? And we come to an agreement on a price. And he says, fine. Send me the money, PayPal or Venmo. Like, oh, God. Come on.
Would you have ever done this, Fred, for anything?
No.
Okay, neither would I.
No. This is complete Hardy.
So I Venmo the money to him. He says, send me a screenshot once it's done. I'm like, don't you have the Venmo there? But the name it was going to was like an Hispanic name. It wasn't Chinese. It wasn't anything else. It was like, oh, okay. And he goes, very good. Thank you. And a lot of his texts end with something like, thank you. I love you, brother. Heart emoji.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Well, he also trades in gay affair.
It's like, okay.
Boyfriend experience, too.
So
they say love.
I send the money. I immediately, like, hat in a hand, go to my wife. I'm like, I think I may have just, pissed away a few $100, but it's going to be an adventure. We'll see. And she's just shaking her head. She's like, you dummy. Like, okay. So a few days go by. I don't hear from him. I text the number again. I'm like, well, here's the part where it comes back as unknown. And I said, well, it's been 3 days, has the watch been assembled? And he said, yes. And he sends me back a video. And he's got the gloves. I never see his face, but the gloves are on. And, he's showing it and all this stuff. And it's got it on this, like, watch meter that, makes sure it's functioning properly. I'm like, great. When will it ship? Soon, my friend. Heart emoji. Like, okay. Will there be tracking information? Yes, don't worry. That was the other thing he loved to end the text with. Don't worry.
Yeah, don't worry.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So he sent me FedEx tracking information. I looked at it. Like, okay, package hasn't been picked up yet. Package hasn't been picked up yet. This goes on for 3 more days. I said, what's going on? Had to send watch to Dubai. From China to Dubai. Ships from Dubai. You will have soon. Don't worry. Okay, well, I'm very worried. So and there's no tracking, but I'm guessing he mailed it or shipped it from China, and then it got to Dubai. And I'm looking at the FedEx shipping, like, to say I checked it once an hour was probably understating it.
Well, yeah, I mean, you had hundreds of dollars invested
but
in
I wanted the thing. So finally it shows up. FedEx receives the package in Dubai. Sits there for like 2 more days.
Yeah.
Then I see it, your package is on the move. Then it goes to France. And it stays in France for like 3 more days. I get back to the guy. I'm like, any idea on actual delivery? Soon, don't worry.
It's out of his hands at this point.
Oh, it's gone. It's a,
so why are you texting him? It's out of his hands.
Half a world away.
Because listen, this is well worth. He's spending $1 a minute of worry.
There's got to be a period of time where you're just like, all right, it may not happen. It's money out the window. Lesson learned.
For his labor, he was being paid. Hardy was being paid 50 cents an hour.
I'm just approaching it academically now, and I've gotten into the world. I go into the world and I start going like deep into the web. What's with these super clones, and what's with the real market? What's the black market? What's the gray market? And they're like, well, these places in China, they use real parts and real stuff. And, the inner workings aren't exact to what the actual ones are that are made in Switzerland. But, you go online and they have watch experts and they're saying like, it's really hard to tell the difference and the movement and all this stuff. I'm like, great. And so now I'm wanting it even more. It won't leave France. It's still in Europe. It's just
because it's
there.
got that whatever new COVID's in there. You're bringing in like all kinds of disease throughout the country.
By one morning here, it was last week, it left France and it was on its way. It showed up in Memphis like at around this time. It may have been like a week ago today. By the time it left France to my doorstep, it was like 12 more hours. That was it. It just had to make it from somewhere in China to Dubai to France over the course of 2.5 weeks. And then the last 12 hours, it traveled across the ocean and showed up on my doorstep. I'm like, oh boy. So I open up this box. Not only is it the watch, he includes like a separate bracelet, a little tool to change out the bracelet. It has an owner's manual. It has authentication cards. It has essentially everything that you would buy with like the $7,000 model. And again, I'm not going to spend that kind of money on a watch, period. I'm certainly not going to do it on a green watch, which you're not going to wear all the time. But I wanted it. Once I decided
right.
I wanted it.
So you spend $800 and worry about it for a month.
Half that. Come on, half that, Fred.
Even better.
Yeah.
$400.
And you worry
Much
for a month.
Better.
And then you have
correcting him.
And then you have the knowledge every time you put it on that it's a fake.
I have one nice real watch that I am like emotionally attached to.
Sure.
Actually, two. The one that I was given as a gift, and the one that the used one that I bought for myself.
Right.
This is just. I like the way it looks. I don't care about the history. I really don't even.
But that's what you said you liked about watches was the history and the craftsmanship.
No, the two that I have. This one, I just like the way it looks.
You like to fool people.
I don't even like to fool people. If I could find, like a Casio that had the same look, I would just get that.
No,
but I've looked all over the place. This is the one I wanted, and now I got it, and it might turn my wrist green.
At the least.
It might end up...
Probably got a bomb in it. You know? Lord knows what's in that thing. It's probably got like some kind of fentanyl, like micro-fentanyl that's going to explode. Like some guy's going to come up to you on the street, would put a gun in your back and go, give me that watch. And you go, why? It's fake. And they'll go, it's fake. And then they take it because it's got some kind of like spy technology in it. You're probably being tracked by the Chinese government.
Just because it has the little Wuhan winder here, it doesn't mean it's unsafe in any way. It's a perfectly safe.
Is that a thing? The Wuhan winder? Is that a thing?
The Wuhan flu. Goodness. The references.
Fair enough. I did miss that. Okay.
Super clone, baby. And the people I've told about it, they like laugh and then they say, "Can I have that guy's number?" I'm like, I don't know. I'm treating him like Daniel now. This is my watch, Daniel.
All right.
Well, I like everyone's doing this. I know a guy who's got 5 other guys I know taking fake Ozempic out of Mexico. He's like dealing Ozempic like Mexican Ozempic.
No.
And these are wealthy guys, and they're all like taking this underground Ozempic. I mean, it's like this. Everyone's looking for a bargain. You got a bomb on your wrist. These guys are injecting poison into their bodies. It's a whole situation.
I showed it to you yesterday.
I'm kidding, obviously.
But
I don't want to touch it. I don't want to. I honestly don't want to touch it. No, I swear to God, I don't want to touch it, and I'm not joking.
Rub it on your cheek.
No, that's how COVID came here.
That's not proven.
It's like you got some like black market Chinese thing that's all shady where you don't know the guy. He's giving hearts emojis like a weirdo. It's like
the whole transaction and the guy. It's all very.
But
weird.
How hardy is it? The best hardy part about it is that he was obsessively following the path of the package.
Oh my God!
Instead of just going. Like, worst case scenario, I lost $400. But he can't be scammed. That would have been too much for him to take. It's not the $400. It's the notion that someone took him for the $400 that he can't stand.
But he didn't take me, and instead, I made a friend in China.
You did. Well, listen, you can go out there and enjoy the government, and it's going to be a whole scene. They'll be our in charge of us soon enough. At least you'll be on the ground floor. As they overtake us as the world's greatest
As
power.
worried as I was, even though I was told not to worry, I thought if it is a scam, it is the cruelest scam of all time because this guy kept sending me photos and telling me not to worry. Well, he had my money.
Well, I wonder if the idea is that you will tell people about it. Like, because it seems very labor intensive on his end, too. So, I just think it's interesting, like the rigmarole, just to get yourself a fake watch. The rigmarole, and all the pain and all the uncertainty,
so much,
just to end up with a real garbage, just a cheap fake knockoff.
But it's green.
It caught my eye enough to go. If it wasn't green, I would just assume that you bought a watch. But it was
the drawstring on my hoodie.
I know what you're doing. Yes, I see. I understand the power of a green watch. It is a flex. That's why I mentioned it.
Yeah, matchy match.
That's why it's a flex. Is that like this is when you become Pharrell or something and you start matching your color your watches with your sneakers.
But you understand me. You get me. You know the guilt of wearing a fake watch is too much for me. So I have to announce it to as many people as possible. So because otherwise I feel like a fraud. I feel guilty.
But there is that little Vegas in you that's like, I know a guy.
You do know me.
Yeah. Like I know a guy.
Son of a bitch. bitch.
Yeah, like
you got my number.
And that's why you were so obsessed with it, is because you were like, I think I'm gaming the system.
You know
but if he scams me, I'm done.
What do you want? I'm going to buy you one. You want the Rolex Pepsi? I'll get it for you.
I want to live without disease, and that's why I will not wear any of that on my wrist. I don't want anything where I don't know the person who gave. I don't want anything with Google Translate and fake companies. I don't need any of that. It's very upsetting to me. I'd rather have nothing. I'd rather have nothing.
We'll see. When you have something, you're going to change your tune.
I will probably. All right, Christopher Price. The Patriots have something. They have A.J. Brown, and we will talk to Christopher Price about that in just a moment. It's never changed. It's never changed. It's the same thing over and over and over and over. It's just never good. It wasn't funny the first time.
Toucher and Hardy, mornings on the Sports Hub.
If A.J. Brown wants the football, they're going to find ways to get it to him. And I don't want to take Josh McDaniels out of this either, because every time Josh McDaniels has had a really good wide receiver, that wide receiver has put up enormous numbers.
By now, Toucher and Hardy don't have to tell you that the Patriots have moved a 2028 first-round pick and a 2027 fifth-round pick for A.J. Brown. And a lot of excitement, a little overshadowed by the Myles Garrett trade yesterday, but nonetheless a big trade in the NFL involving the Patriots. Christopher Price had never even seen this coming. He was staunchly in the camp of this was never going to happen. No, I'm just kidding. Christopher Price obviously has known about the possibility of this for a long time. He writes about the Patriots for the Boston Globe. Christopher Price, hello, sir.
Good morning, Fred. How you doing?
I am well. Thank you so much for joining us. And the Patriots' excitement keeps rolling along, and here we are. I know you had a really good feeling that this was going to happen. Are you surprised in the compensation that the Patriots gave?
No. I was a little bit. Look, there's always a risk when you give up a one. But given Brown's history with Vrabel here, I think that this is probably the closest thing you can get to a guarantee when it comes to a return on something like this. So I'm a little bit surprised, but at the same time, look, you can match these two teams up a lot of different ways. This is a wide receiver, obviously, with a history with Vrabel. The Patriots needed another layer of depth. The Eagles love to collect draft picks, so here we are.
Okay, if they were talking to the Eagles for this long and there was no one else really knocking on their door about A.J. Brown, why do you think it took the first-round pick? Because people have speculated that the Patriots, really were assuming that it would be a second-round pick or hoping that it would be a second-round pick. How do you think it got to this quickly?
I think a lot of it has to do, Fred, with the year. 27 as opposed to 28 or 28 as opposed to 27 with the first rounder. So, look, I think it makes sense. I do. I think it makes sense for both sides. Again, I'm a little bit cautious about giving up a one for anyone. But this is, in my mind, the most seismic trade that they have made for a wide receiver dating back to 2007 when they got Randy Moss and Wes Welker. I don't think he's going to have the same sort of impact. I don't think this duo, if you include Dobbs in there, is going to have the same sort of impact. But it just adds another layer of depth to a burgeoning passing game.
Did you look at A.J. Brown as a distressed asset? Because you could look at it either way. How did you look at him?
Slightly distressed asset, given what happened to him last year, given his level of dissatisfaction with the offense. And look, the right knee is a real thing. I don't want people to freak out if he's taking Veterans Days in November and December. This is a guy who had to have his right knee drained twice a week, dating back to, I think, 2024. This is still a problem. So you get with a guy like Vrabel, who knows his history, who knows how to manage him, and I think that's going to be okay. But ultimately, to answer your question, I think he was a little bit of a distressed asset, at least at this point in his career.
It's funny because you hear two things from the Philadelphia media. One, that he was very well liked in the locker room, that he's like a good guy, and that he was well liked in the locker room, which seems to be pretty much what everyone's saying. But he also is a guy that, would get on Instagram after games, but before the team had even let the media in the locker room and complain. He according to some in the Philadelphia media, quit on the team during games. Look, what are you getting personality wise from A.J. Brown? Now, just real quickly, when Philadelphia traded for him, A.J. Brown was otherworldly, in the new atmosphere. So you would think that he's highly motivated coming into New England and being back with Vrabel. But what are you getting personality wise with him?
There's a few different things at play there, Fred. I think, first of all, his level of dissatisfaction with the offense last year can be traced back to a few different things. The offensive coordinator that the Eagles had last year, no one really liked him. They've since switched out offensive coordinators. The targets were the kind of targets that he was getting. It wasn't necessarily the underneath. He's not an underneath and intermediate wide receiver. He's a home run hitter. And I think that he was a little bit upset that he wasn't getting more chances deep. I think that's remedied this year by the fact that, he's going to be walking into a locker room with the best deep ball thrower in the National Football League. And again, I think the knee kind of plays a role in all of this, and maybe the level of dissatisfaction he had, maybe the way he was handled. Look, he's getting with a coach, again, that he knows and he's comfortable with. I think if this was a different receiver, a guy who didn't have the sort of relationship with Vrabel that Brown does, I would be a little more concerned. But I think when you look at that background there, he's a Vrabel guy. You add him to a list of guys like Landry and Spillane and Jack Gibbons last year, guys who understand the coach, the coach understands them. I think that's a great place to start when you're talking about his career in New England.
Okay, you mentioned that fans are going to have to take it easy when A.J. Brown gets his veteran days at points in the season. It's the veteran games that are going to be of more concern. And Chris, is it more likely? It seems that they would happen later in the season, and just playing the tape to the end. Now, I'm wondering how upset are people going to be if they are right on the cusp of a playoff position, as they could be based on the schedule and the team and everything else, if he's going to need a game or two later on in the year, just due to all the factors that you mentioned?
One of the things that I really gleaned from talking to people in Philadelphia that we were talking about before was that regardless of how you feel about him and regardless of the situation involving the knee, this is a guy who answers the bell consistently. He's played no fewer than 13 games over the last 4 years. Now, there are days that he's going to have to take off, and there are going to be games where he's not at 100%, but this is a guy who's out there as much as he can be out there. This is a guy who answers the bell consistently. He is a durable, dependable guy, even given the knee situation. So I wouldn't worry about that too much, him maybe missing games later in the year. But yeah, this is, like I said, I mean, the knee is the thing that gives people pause when you talk about A.J. Brown.
On the positive side of things, Chris, and we were talking about this earlier, it just seems like A.J. Brown is the first Patriots skill player in I don't know how long that defensive coordinators are actually going to have to spend some extra time on.
Yeah. This is a guy who demands attention on every snap. He's a boundary receiver, so you're not going to really move him around like you did with Diggs last year or some other guys in this offense. This is a home run hitter. This is a big play threat. Only 4 wide receivers over the last 4 years have had fewer yards than A.J. Brown. This is someone that, we go back to the old phrase with Randy Moss, take the top off the defense. This is the kind of guy who could take the top off the defense and then, because of that, can free things up underneath for guys like Pop Douglas and Kyle Williams and Kayshon Boutte if he's here.
Who's the odd man out in the receiver room?
Yeah, I was just going to say.
It's going to be Boutte. I think the best possible situation is Boutte has a really strong spring, really strong summer, and they wait until Labor Day when someone goes down, another wide receiver on another team goes down, and the Patriots call up and ask for a fourth for Kayshon Boutte. I think that it's going to be really fascinating to see how he responds to all of this. But in my experience with him, Boutte's been very straightforward with us over the last couple of years. He was a guy last year who talked about how it was a real struggle to be able to distinguish yourself in that wide receiver room once Diggs showed up. So I don't think there's going to be any sort of, nonsense off the field with him. But I think, again, the best possible scenario is they end up trading him probably around Labor Day.
Which, oddly, I'm fine with. What I didn't want was him to be part of the original deal. Let's get into camp and see how things look before you're just willing to send him off. But you mentioned Stephon Diggs and the impact that he had last year, not just as a player, but as the guy in the room and the leader in the room. Is A.J. Brown a suitable replacement in that regard?
He was a captain back in Philly. And again, we talk about how he's perceived in the locker room. The guys in the locker room in Philadelphia, like you said, Fred, loved him. This was a guy who really demanded a lot of respect. This is a guy who got a lot of respect, who demanded a lot of respect. And I think there's a chance. It's going to take time, obviously, when a veteran comes into a new situation, kind of feel things out and kind of understand where his place is. But I certainly think that there's the potential for him to be one of the captains this year in 2026.
All right, real quick, Christian Gonzalez, they're adding 2 years at least of a big salary here. They're going to have to pay Drake May, make him the highest paid guy in football, I'd assume. What is the future of Christian Gonzalez? Does this affect him at all?
I think it's going to affect him minimally. Look, they were working on this thing, or at least all signs point to the fact that they've been working on something for a while. They need to get him done. They need to get this taken care of before the start of the season, maybe even before the start of training camp. This has the potential. This has the feel. This has the potential of something that could drag on here a little bit. You mentioned the Drake May stuff. It's kind of looming out there down the road. They need to square this away as soon as possible.
All right. Well, there you go. Exciting day for the Patriots. I have a feeling if it was another team in the AFC, people would be, concerned that the other team in the AFC had picked up A.J. Brown. So you can look at it that way, and it's there is an excitement to going all in right now. You were in a Super Bowl last year, so it certainly is exciting. All right, Christopher Price, thank you so much. Read him in the Boston Globe. He's got all the information. Look forward to talking to you. Hopefully there's a scandal of some kind continuing this offseason when we can talk to you about it. Thanks, Christopher.
I love it. Take care, guys.
It. There you go. The great Christopher Price. We will be back in just a moment. Here are the headlines.
Ticket not punched.
Hardy.
No, the ticket's not punched.
Fred.
You got a bunch of stuff wrong when you talk. So much for this country.
Dutcher and Hardy.
This country's a bunch of buffoons that don't know the rules.
You idiot. The Sports Hub.
Hey, we are Dutcher and Hardy. Be listening this morning at the end of this segment for a chance to score a pair of tickets to see Bill Burr for the first ever comedy event at the Centerville Bank Stadium. Now, he was the first comedian at Fenway Park, so now he's just racking up first. At Centerville, we were at that
Yes, we were.
show.
First comedian at Fenway Park, if you don't count Terry Francona. He used to do that bit where he would poop with the bathroom door open, which is more of a physical comedy bit. It's more like Gallagher.
Had a front row seat for
I
that
looked at it
one.
more of a degradation of John.
Yeah, I had a real good view of that one.
Yeah, John, there was
The seats weren't as good for
there
Bill
were
Burr.
saloon doors on the bathroom in the manager's office at Fenway Park, and Francona would take dumps while John was trying to talk to him, which was not something that would happen in other businesses. Like if you went in to Rick here at the station and Rick said, I got to take a dump, follow me.
Follow me so we can have our meeting.
Follow me so we can chinwag while I'm taking a deuce. Excuse me, I have diarrhea.
Be right with you.
My bowels are irritated.
Can I just wait till you get back?
No. Power move. All right. Now allow me to please take dictation. Don't write that down. Or if you do, write it down as PSHHHFFF. That's how I would like my thoughts to be described. If you would, sir. Find a key for this. Hey, mother effer. Write this down. That was...
In your office? My other office.
I'm like Fonzie, except I dump in here.
All right.
Ralph Mouse let it spray. Wait, I got to finish the read.
Oh, yeah.
It's Centerville Bank Stadium.
But you see how we got there.
Home of the Rhode Island FC on June 12th is when Bill Burr will be playing at the Centerville Bank Stadium. Tickets are available at Ticketmaster.com. Courtesy of Grand Rising Curations, who've never been prouder than be associated with a read.
All right. I mentioned yesterday You didn't need me to mention about the women's softball tournament going on right now. If you're a follower of anything national sports-wise.
Well, if you listen to ESPN radio in the morning, they'll if you're listening at 7:25 or 5:25.
I was going to say middle of the night sports talk radio nationally, you know that the women's college softball tournament is huge right now. And it's got some real human interest stories.
I have some sources in the Texas dugout who have given me an incredible story on Hannah Wells. She has a superstition dating back to childhood that if she sees a ladybug, she eats it for good luck.
Wow.
Not saves it, not sets it free, but
she sees a ladybug, she eats it for good luck. Swallows it whole. What? And so I was told that at the SEC tournament in Kentucky, she had a nice home run and she had ingested a ladybug before that. So this is a superstition. I have this on 2 different sources in that Texas dugout. And what a cute and weird superstition.
So
is it cute?
But here's the deal: is
2
that
different sources.
I don't like that women's college sports have become all about the glamour of social media. Like, you're not pinups, softball ladies, with your bug eating and glamorous dresses and gowns.
Well, even if it's not so much about the dresses and gowns, Fred, still Hannah, might be trying to catch the eye of a suitor and maybe doesn't want nonsense like this out in the world. So here's Hannah to set the story straight when it comes to the eating of bugs.
You could make a cruel joke on Hannah and play like James Earl Jones or something as her voice. But I'm glad you didn't do that.
No, this can't be true, and Hannah doesn't want the story out there.
In the broadcast, they mentioned that you eat ladybugs. Yeah. Do you have any in the vicinity today? There was no ladybugs today. But
Pull
yeah,
my finger.
Here's some more good luck for you. Come here, Charlie.
There was no ladybugs today. But yeah, I've done that since I was a little girl. But I think we just saw really good pitches today, really good pitchers. So when we played the best is when our backs are against the wall. We're just going to go out there, give it our all, and do it all for our seniors.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't about the ladybug today. It was about team unity.
And seeing the pitches. The woman behind the desk, though, when she tells the story initially,
she has a superstition dating back to childhood that if she sees a ladybug, she eats it for good luck. Swallows it.
That's like John hearing about a watch costing $6,000.
Yeah.
Eats it for good luck.
It's like John if you make a Tebow joke. You know what's
Gotta let that go.
Well, I just brought it up, and now I finally feel the freedom of blaming you. I wonder if anyone got mad. Like, I wonder if any PETA people got mad that she eats the ladybug. That it's one of God's creatures, after all. But again, the femininity of the women's softball game has gotten completely out of control. It's not about eating bugs and,
I don't
who's got the nicest eyeliner on. It's about playing softball.
I don't like how they're objectifying them and just turning them into,
just sex objects.
Objects of desire. Yeah, that's
exactly.
Wrong.
Like, it's just, come on, ladies. It's about softball. But I'll tell you, ESPN, they shoehorn that thing in. And, I am guilty of myself. Like, if a team I like in another market does something, to listen to their sports talk radio, and if they're not talking about that specific thing at the specific moment I tune in, I'm like pissed off. And then I realize, like, what the hell am I thinking? Like, I don't program this thing. They've got to do 4 hours of radio, and I want them to talk about the particular thing I want them to talk about at the particular time I'm listening. That's ridiculous. But I can tell you this. I don't care about women's softball.
What?
Shame on you.
The scores, and then they tease the women's softball results before they get into the big story of the day. So they'll go, Texas beat Texas, or is facing Texas A&M or whatever is happening in the women's softball final again. Myles Garrett was traded. Like, so they lead into the Myles Garrett news with the women's softball news.
Don't go anywhere. We'll get back to this. But here's the main story.
Now, if my daughter was in the women's softball final, or even played college softball, I would probably be interested. That's the only scenario. If you have a daughter playing at a high level in that particular sport, I would believe that you would be more interested in it.
But Fred, this just shows your misogyny and your chauvinism because you're all in on men's softball, and I know you're constantly watching those games and following those leagues. So what's wrong with? Why won't you branch out and watch the women's softball also?
Chicks don't belong on the softball field. It's for guys that take it too seriously and keep stats. That's what it's all about. These broads trying to take our game. Get out of here, ladies. I'm kidding. Somebody, well, you said the girls shouldn't play softball. Yeah, that's right. You know that's happening too.
Oh,
Fred said something horrible.
somebody will
women.
clip that and send it to our boss.
But
You're hating on people. You're hating on Jesus.
Oh boy, now you've done it.
That was your Imus moment. That was as bad as what Imus said.
Oh, absolutely. And the sincerity of what I was saying was
I didn't say that wrong. I didn't mean it.
Plenty of the haters out there. That's too bad. Well, 32 after the hour, Mary Matt.
If I do, Al Sharpton show and let him yell at me for an hour. It'll take this all away.
None the wiser.
Let Al yell at me for an hour. What could go wrong? I'll do an apology tour. Everything will work out.
If it affects my brother's hat and boot store there in Santa Fe, then I'll feel bad. Otherwise, they can go kick rocks.
Yeah. Well, listen, you're doing it for the kids. You built that ranch for a tax-free, not for a tax-free haven.
I did it for Deirdre. Deirdre wanted something to do. She loves kids.
Well, Deirdre obviously married you for your looks. Caller number 10 to the contest line, 617-931-0985, will score a pair of tickets to see Bill Burr for the first ever comedy event at Centerville Bank Stadium, home of Rhode Island FC, on June 12th. Tickets are available at Ticketmaster.com, courtesy of Grand Rising Curations. I'm a little disappointed in our audience. I will explain why in just a moment.